And that's why most people fail on YouTube, is because they think it's a game of making videos. It's more a game of planning and then making a video based on that plan.
Ed Lawrence, he's helped generate over 1 billion views on YouTube, build businesses doing $500,000 a month purely from YouTube content, and shut down his own massive channel to start a smaller, more niche one, only to quadruple his revenue. And when you actually listen to what he says about growing a business on YouTube, you'd expect it to be complicated. Some elite level strategy that only works if you have a massive team and a huge budget. But actually, it's not, because everything he talks about applies directly to you. Whether you're just starting your channel, trying to get your first client from YouTube, or wondering why your videos aren't getting views. So I went through hours of Ed Lawrence interviews and pulled out the best clips that I think every business owner needs to hear right now. And after each one, I'm going to break down exactly how you can apply it to your own YouTube channel, because I've been helping businesses grow on YouTube for over 6 years, and what Ed is describing is the same stuff I see holding people back every single day. Let's get into it.
I build my channel strategy around the buyers, not the viewers. If you optimize for viewers, you'll get viewers. If you optimize for buyers, you'll make money.
This is the single most important thing Ed ever said. And if there is only one thing you can take away from this video, it should be this, because it's the exact mistake I see every business owner make on YouTube. They look at what gets the most views in their niche and they copy that. They make content that appeals to everyone because they think that's the way to go, only to end up wondering why nobody's booking calls. But when you optimize for viewers, you attract people who want free information. Instead, when you optimize for buyers, you attract people who have a problem and are ready to pay someone to solve it.
I call a short process video. It's a deep dive, but 8 to 10 minutes long. But you go and you teach them how to get a specific result, but you cut out 80% of the stuff that doesn't matter. And you give them only the 20 that does. And you don't tell them everything. It's kind of like, here's an overview of the big moves to make. And that basically inspires people because it's not overwhelming.
This is something I have to correct with almost every business owner I work with, because they get on camera and they want to prove how much they know. They dump everything they've learned over the last 10, 20 or even 30 years into one video. All the details, every case they've worked on and every exception they can think of. But what happens when you do that is that the viewer gets overwhelmed. They end up feeling like it's too complicated for them, so they leave. Yet the videos that actually convert are the ones where the viewer walks away thinking, I finally understand it. And that's because you give them the 20% that actually moves the needle and you cut out everything else. That's why the business owners who simplify their content actually come across as more of an authority than the ones who overcomplicate things. Because being able to take something complex and make it simple is the ultimate proof that you understand what you're talking about.
I'd probably say that 70% of the results are in the planning, because once you have the plan down, it's easy to film. Without that planning, you just won't get anywhere. And that's why most people fail on YouTube, is because they think it's a game of making videos. It's more a game of planning and then making a video based on that plan.
Most business owners spend 90% of their time filming and editing and only 10% planning. And as Ed said, it should be the complete opposite. That's exactly what we do with our clients. We do the research, define the video idea, the format, the title, the thumbnail, the script outline, and all of that happens before anyone picks up a camera. So by the time the client sits down to record, they know exactly what to say and how to say it. Because when you're going to skip this crucial part, you will end up with a video that takes 12 hours to create and talks about a topic nobody actually wants to watch. But when you do the planning up front, you will spend 1 hour recording a video that you already know is going to perform well because you just spent 11 hours researching it. But there's one part of the video that most business owners don't plan at all, even though it's the most valuable 30 seconds of your entire video. And hint, it's not your hook.
The average click-through rate on YouTube is what? Like 3%? Like, if we look at it like that, you can get your end screen click-through rate up to 20%. You're never going to get a click-through rate like that anywhere on YouTube. The second video they watch makes them more likely to buy or sign up. So your end screen is important, because if it's the first time they discover you, we got to get into the next video and the next. so that they then sign up to your email, so that they then want to buy your thing.
Ed is saying you can get a 20% click-through rate on your end screen. Just think about that. You're never going to get a 20% click-through rate on a thumbnail that makes your end screen the highest converting real estate on your entire YouTube channel. Basically, it's easier and more valuable to make a viewer who is already on your video watch another one than try to make a new viewer click on your video. Yet, most business owners still let YouTube pick a random video to show to their viewers, or make the mistake of using their end call to action in the wrong way. Because instead of making people watch more videos, they send them off YouTube. They just say click the link in the description to book a call and the viewer ends up leaving the platform. But that's not how successful business owners do it. They make sure to open another curiosity gap and position the next video as the next logical step in the viewer's journey. Something like, now that you know this, none of it actually matters if you don't get this next part right. And then point them to the next video that covers that next part. Because when you do this, you create binge sessions where your viewer ends up watching one video, then a second video, a third one, or maybe even 5 videos in a row. So by the time they've watched 5 of your videos, I can guarantee you that you don't need a call to action to work with you. At that point, they've already decided that you're the right person to help them, so they will find your book a calling by themselves. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, I get what Ed is saying, but I don't have time to do all of this by myself, that's exactly what we do at Fast Forward Media. We've helped over 100 businesses become profitable on YouTube, generating millions of views and thousands of leads for our clients. And we do it all for you. The research, the strategy, the scripts, the editing, the thumbnails, the packaging. We run your entire YouTube channel. There's a link in the description to book a call if you want to see what we can do for your business. Alright, let's dive into clip number 5.
I want to make a really good product. I want to make something really good that's so good people are like, I can't live without this thing. The thing I hate about everything online is everyone's chasing how do I make more money? But I didn't do that. I chased how do I make my product better? If I get more results, I put those results into my content. I tell stories about my client wins.
Ed is calling out something here that's driving me crazy as well, because even if you were creating the best YouTube videos on the planet, it will never lead to more business if you don't have a good offer at the back end. In fact, business owners spend all their time building fancy funnels and sales pages to drive people towards their services, but never spend the time on crafting an offer that is worth buying. The way I see this play out on YouTube is that business owners obsess over getting more views, more subscribers, and more traffic to their sales page, but when someone actually lands on their offer, it's just not good enough to convert. And at that point, nothing will work to grow your business. But if your service is genuinely great, things work the other way around and YouTube does the heavy lifting for you. That way, you make videos that demonstrate your expertise, viewers start to trust you, and when they see your offer, they think, obviously I want to work with this person. And it's the same thing for all our clients. The best performing clients we're working with are the ones that actually have an incredible offer in place. Yes, they make great YouTube content, and yes, they talk about topics their audience is interested in, but it wouldn't make any difference if their offer on the backend was not attractive. So your product needs to be great first. YouTube just amplifies it. Even with a great product, none of it matters if nobody finds you. And what Ed says next should genuinely worry anyone who's putting this off.
The problem is times have changed. Years ago, it was much easier to grow very, very quick because there was less people making content. And now as more and more people come to any platform, and especially as AI has reduced the barrier to entry. So, it's not next year. I don't think many people are going to be on camera anymore. I think it's just going to be AI avatars presenting it, right? So the barrier to presenting has gone. The barrier to editing is getting smaller. The barrier to ideation, all these barriers that stop people getting involved are gone. And what that means is there's going to be more competition than ever, which means getting more views and traction than ever is going to be even harder. So what we need to be looking at is where's the gap and how can I position myself as the #1 expert in the world at solving a specific problem.
So in this clip, Ed is talking about something that should concern every business owner who's been putting off YouTube because AI has made it easier than ever before to create content. The barriers that used to stop people, like not knowing how to edit, not being comfortable on camera, or not having the best ideas, are disappearing fast. That means that your niche is about to get a lot more crowded. In fact, fact, it's probably already a lot more crowded than it was a year ago. And that's where the business owners who have already established themselves as an authority have a unique advantage, because it's going to be almost impossible to catch up with them. I've seen it happen over and over again with our clients. When you find a competitive advantage in your niche and you're the first one to start recording videos on that topic, you will start building a library. And by posting consistently, you will little by little take up all the space in that specific niche. So consequently, when anyone searches for anything related to your niche, you will show up everywhere and everyone else in that space becomes invisible. Because you're the person who is claiming all the territory, and anybody who comes after you will have it 10 times more difficult to get some part of the territory you already claim. The opportunity right now on YouTube is that business owners in almost all the niches still haven't figured this out. They're sleeping on it and still think that YouTube is something for influencers. But the thing is, you want to move now because this gap won't last forever. I've seen this myself with our client Etu, a swimming coach. When he first started out in April 2025, there was already a lot of general swimming advice out there. But as he has worked for over 20 years with Olympic medal winners and international champions, he has expertise that only the top 0.1% in the swimming niche know about. And that has been the unique advantage that has gained him over 1 million views in the last 12 months and built him an online one-on-one swimming coaching program that his competitors can only dream of. Because his videos are more detailed than any competitor and he shares professional insights nobody has ever shared before. That's what makes him stand out and the go-to person in his specific niche. So Ed just told us we need to position ourselves as the #1 expert. But how do you actually do that without reinventing the wheel every single week? Well, Ed has an answer for that one too.
Just don't do anything original. At the end of the day, right, there's millions of videos on YouTube, probably hundreds of millions, and there's a very small percentage of those that will get, say, 100,000 views. A very small percentage will get 10. What you just need to do is find the clues on YouTube as to what already worked.
I know this sounds counterintuitive and goes against all the creative rules you might know, but Ed is absolutely right. The clues for what will work on YouTube are already there. You just have to find them. But there's where most people get this wrong. They hear, don't be original, and they just copy the biggest channel in their niche word for word. But that's not what Ed is actually saying. What he's talking about is finding what's already proven to work, like the formats, the structures, the title patterns, and then apply these to your topic in a way your audience hasn't seen before. That is actually what formats are about. In fact, there is a big nuance between video topics and video formats that people often overlook. Think about it as a box. Your video topic, so what you're going to talk about, is the content of the box, and the video format, so how you're structuring the video, is the box itself. It's the packaging and the structure of the video. So that basically means that your video topic can fit in any type of box because it does not affect what you're going to talk about inside that video. But if you make sure that you use a box that's already proven to work, you give your topic a much higher chance of succeeding. As you can see, we're not inventing something new here. We're only taking a proven structure and making it ours, so our topic fits inside the box. This video is a perfect example. The reaction format has been done 1,000 times, but nobody has done it with Ed Lauren's advice specifically for business owners. So although the format is not original, the originality comes from your perspective, from your expertise, and the structure comes from what's already working. You just have to find them and make them yours. But none of this works if you're not willing to commit. And this last clip from Ed is the one I think every business owner needs to hear more than anything else.
Yeah, you need to think in 10-year cycles. That was when I started doing this, I was like, if I do this for 10 years, I reckon after 10 years, I can become a somebody who does something.
Do you realize what Ed just said? Just think about it. Where were you 10 years ago? Or where do you think you will be in 10 years from now? Because that's the mindset that Ed had when he started his YouTube journey. Yes, today he's making over $400,000 a month and he's getting millions of views for his clients, but he was able to get there because he's been working for the last 10 years on that path. Most business owners I work with want to see results in 90 days, but the business owners who actually succeed on YouTube are the ones who commit to the long game. They're not looking for a quick win or giving up if the first videos don't get any results. They're building something that compounds over the years. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've been on YouTube now for 7 years and the landscape is always changing. There are always new players to the game and it's difficult to keep up with them. You will only make it if you're willing to commit 200% week in and week out. That's what I've seen over and over again. The business owners that are still winning today are the ones that are putting in the same type of efforts they were putting in 2, 3 or 5 years ago. The ones that disappeared or failed are the ones that after 3 months said that they're not seeing result and shifted to do something else, to try it again for 3 months, fail again and continue that cycle over and over again. It's simple. The ones who quit always say that YouTube doesn't work for their industry, but I disagree. I know that YouTube can work for every single industry. It just depends on how much you're willing to commit, because the ones who stay see the results. We work with a financial advisor who grew his YouTube channel to 2,000 subscribers by posting consistently for 2 years by himself. 3 months ago, we started working together, and in that period, he got over 700,000 views, 11,500 new subscribers, and so many business leads that his agenda is fully booked for the next 4 months. Another example is a doctor we're working with. We started his YouTube channel from scratch, and it took us an entire year to go from 0 to 1,000 subscribers. But then, in the 6 months after, we went from 1,000 to 10,000, and now we just have reached 50,000 subscribers. He could have given up in the first 90 days because the results were very small, but he didn't because he knew the visibility YouTube could bring in the long term to his business. So if there is one thing you will take away from this video, let it be this. YouTube is the longest game you will ever play, but if you stick to it, it will also be the most rewarding one. And that's what one of the most successful YouTube business strategists in the world wants you to know. Now, if you want to see how to apply all of this to your business, the video ideas, the packaging, the scripting, the whole system, I made a video breaking down the exact YouTube system we use with every single client, like our swimming coach, financial advisor, and doctor. I go over how we find a demand, how we package it, and how we structure content so viewers turn into clients. I'll see you there.